Welcome. If you're just tuning into my channel, thank you for being here. And if you are returning to this sacred space, welcome back, beautiful soul. I do hope you have been well. Skin Deep is a space where we get to be who God created us to be. A space where your truth does not have to perform under the many hats you wear as parent, partner, sibling, or friend. I am Kiera Charles, and if you don't know by now, I am a spiritual teacher, led by my love of God and my life story to not only embody healing, but to teach why it's necessary for you, your family, and your legacy in this lifetime and the next. This is a bonus episode, not because rejection is small, but because it deserves space outside the emotional weight of retelling the story again. If you've been with me since season 1, you already know the rejection that shaped this journey. You've heard the story, you felt it in your body, and you walked through it with me, not as a spectator, but as someone whose own wounds were being mirrored back to you. Season 1 was about naming what happened. Season 2 was about understanding how it lives inside us. But today is different. Today isn't about reopening that wound. It's not about reliving the pain. It's not about explaining myself any further. Today is about understanding what rejection was doing. Because rejection doesn't just remove people, places, or opportunities. It repositions consciousness. At the time, rejection feels like loss. It feels like exclusion. It feels like something was taken from you. But distance gives us perspective. And with perspective, we begin to see that rejection wasn't an ending. It was a turning point. This episode exists to help you see rejection not as something that broke you, but as something that oriented you. Oriented you away from places where you would have had to abandon yourself to stay. Oriented you toward the version of yourself that could not emerge in familiar rooms. This is not about pain anymore. This is about pattern recognition. Because when we look closely, spiritually, psychologically, and biblically, we begin to see that rejection has always been a part of the path of awakening, leadership, and authority. This episode is the bridge. A bridge between what you survived and what you're now ready to embody. So take a breath with me. Let your body soften. You don't need to brace yourself here. We are not reopening the wound. We are naming the wisdom it left behind. Let's go deep. In season 1, rejection was raw. It was personal. It was confusing. It felt like doors closing without explanation and relationships failing without repair. But healing isn't linear. Sometimes we don't understand a wound until we live beyond it. This episode exists because rejection didn't end in season 1. It evolved. Psychologically, rejection doesn't just hurt feelings. It destabilizes belonging. The mind starts asking, what's wrong with me? What did I miss? Who do I need to become to be accepted? Some people withdraw. Others overperform. Both are attempts to regain safety. But rejection isn't proof of unworthiness. It's a signal of misalignment. Spiritually, rejection is never random. Scripture reminds us that rejection often happens before elevation, not because you're unfit, because you don't belong where you're trying to stay. Rejection removes you from environments that would have required you to abandon yourself to remain accepted. God doesn't reject people. He removes them from places that can't hold who they're becoming. For those who are intuitive, empathic, or spiritually perceptive, rejection cuts deeper because you see potential before others do. You see what could be, not just what is. But when vision expands faster than environment, tension forms. Rejection becomes the release valve. Rejection feels personal because it touches identity, but spiritually, it's pruning. God removes what cannot grow with you. Not everything that loved you was meant to lead you, and not everything that accepted you was assigned to hold you. Withdrawal is protection. Healing rejection means you stop asking, "Why wasn't I chosen?" and start asking, "What was I being prepared for?" When psychology and spirituality integrate, rejection stops being a wound and becomes orientation. This is where rejection finally resolves. Rejection stops hurting when you no longer need external validation to confirm your worth, and when you stop trying to belong in places that are misaligned with who you've become. Self-validation means you no longer outsource your identity. You don't need approval to trust your intuition. You don't need permission to honor your knowing. You don't need consistency to stand in your truth. But self-validation alone isn't enough, because you can validate yourself and still stay in places that drain you. That's where alignment comes in. Alignment means your choices, relationships, environments, and direction match your values, your nervous system, and your calling. It's when your spirit no longer has to fight your circumstances to be heard. Rejection forces disintegration. It removes the illusion of belonging without alignment and replaces it with the clarity of self-trust. So healing isn't about being accepted again. Healing is about no longer needing acceptance from places that was never meant to hold you. Season 3 is not about survival, it's about authority. As we approach season 3, I want to take some time out to thank everyone who has tuned in to supporting me. This space is about gaining clarity from the truth, so I want to take a minute to offer this personal truth to you. I did not know where this channel was going, or even if it was going to keep going after my personal story. One day I woke up from a dream and God was clear. Start a podcast, name it Skin Deep, and begin to tell your story. Anyone who knows me personally knows that I love God so much. And it is truly because He first loved me. And I know that's a cliche church girl way of saying that, but it's the truth. It's my truth. And if it was not for the love, the goodness, the mercy, the forgiveness, favor, and the wisdom of God, I would not be able to sit here in front of you today and tell my story. It is with great reverence and humility that I have the chance. So I want to say thank you again for everyone who supported me in this new chapter of my life. I look forward to sharing more of my story in hopes that I can guide you to a place of freedom that I am experiencing now. Free to live, free to create, free to be who God has called me to be in love and expansion and in alignment with God's will. So for those of you who tuned in just recently, season 1 was awakening. Season 2 was integration. And season 3 is embodiment. It is about what happens after the wounds stop defining you. And it is my first step into really embodying the knowing that rejection is no longer asking for healing. It is asking for leadership. And leadership does not say I'm done learning. Embodied leadership and successful self-governance says, I can now discern when it is necessary for me to be the teacher and the student. Furthermore, this season invites us to read scripture with new eyes, honoring faith while exploring the deeper symbolism and patterns beneath the stories we already know. As we step into season 3, I want to be very clear about what I am inviting you into. This season is not about fixing yourself. It's not about endlessly processing moves. It's not about chasing healing as an identity. Season 3 is about embodiment. It's about what it looks like to live from the truth you already uncovered, to make decisions from alignment instead of fear, to lead yourself with discernment, humility, and spiritual maturity. And if you're here, it tells me something. You're not just seeking understanding anymore. You're ready to practice self-governance. And again, embodied leadership doesn't mean you stop learning. It means you know when to be the student and when to stand as the teacher. If you want to walk deeper into this next phase, to integrate faith, psychology, symbolism, and lived wisdom, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss what's unfolding. Share this space with someone who is done surviving and ready to live awake. And if you feel called to deepen your embodiment outside these episodes through guided work, reflection, or spiritual tools, everything I offer is designed to support alignment, not dependency. Season 3 is not about becoming someone new. It's about finally being who you already are. As you continue to live free in who you are, stay rooted in truth, stay focused on alignment, and until I see you again, stay skin deep.